Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We just witnessed game number 1 of Jindong Gaming taking on Suning, where Jindong were able to pick up the first victory in what, you know, was a very short amount of time for us going, but has felt like an eternity so far on this desk.
Like a generic game.
Woo! We've been talking for some time here. We had Pulse join us on the desk, then he went back to cast the games. You know, we were talking about everything that was not esports. He was running back and forth. It's not the first time that we've had our play casters running bits to and from desk. But let's break down that game a little bit further, because Suning did lose that game to Jindong Gaming, and it all started with a level 1 play, which we've mentioned time and time again. Tian moving into the jungle on Sejuani against the Kazakhs. Didn't work out. Yagao got really far ahead. But what do we need to see change, really? Well,
the nice thing is that when you go back after a loss like that, it's pretty easy for the coach to be like, we probably shouldn't do X. And you're like, ah, okay, yeah. And then, but that feels good, you know what I mean? It's not like a super close, heavy game where you're both hyper invested and then you lose. Those are the games that can be tilters that you really just can't get back from. So should be a nice, clean reset for them, hopefully. I might also like to see some adjustments in the draft phase, particularly that Zoe. Yagao shouldn't get it. Yes, I do agree that I believe that there are options against Zoe. The Ryze comes to mind, champions like Braum, like Tom Kench, and they had 2 of those 3, but if he's just a really good Zoe player and you get snowballed ahead, no champion snowballs quite as hard as she does.
I mean, we just saw Jindong Gaming returning to their seats, all smiles on their face, especially that man in the mid lane. Yagao had a great game on the Zoe. 4 MVPs picked up so far in the LPL. We're only into week 3 as well. They're going to be really happy. Something we touched on before we went to the break was the fact that Suning's mental fortitude was, you know, great to hear from them. I know it's memed a lot, you know, the positive mental attitude and the mental fortitude and like the tilting aspect of esports. But we saw this earlier today when RNG lost their first match. MLXG looked shocked.
Oh, that face from MLXG. I just want that as a gift.
He had no idea what had hit RNG, whereas for Suning, their Nexus was being destroyed and they were shouting, nice, good job guys, we're doing it, good kill, when they were about to lose a game. And that's great to see from a team that just lost, because now coming into game 2 they can kind of reset here.
Yeah, and now it's kind of where do they go to reset here. And we talk about the star players, you know, we've talked a lot about XiaoAL and Zoom up into the top lane, that matchup, but I also want to see a lot more given to Theory from Suning. Again, it was their 2017 hyper carry compositions that really allowed them to thrive, and you can do that in the 2018 meta.
We'll have to see if Suning are able to pull that out in game number 2. Speaking of which, we're going to send it over to our shoutcasters to take you to the game.
Thank you so much, guys. And I just honestly have to echo those sentiments, because when you're dealing 58% of your team's damage as a champion, Zoe, I feel like you should be banning it at some point, regardless if you have the tools to try and stop it.
Yeah, there was a point in time when they were sieging the high ground that he hit 6 skill shots in a row, and that was almost 20,000 damage right there.
20,000 damage?
That was something like that. It was really, really crazy, like how much damage was. Probably not 20,000. 20,000 is a bit overblown.
That was an eyeboy.
But he was chunking out like half health, or getting people down to 30% just with that Zoe pick. I will say what's interesting about the Zoe dynamic is I feel like this might be the first time we see Suning Gaming on the blue side, because when you're on the blue side, then it forces the enemy team to react to the possibility of a Zoe pick. And we haven't seen Suning play a single blue side game. They're a purely red side counter for night game. So if the Zoe pick does change some dynamics, I think that would be a very interesting point.
Yeah, well actually...
Oh, actually I made the right predictions.
Yeah, so Suning actually playing on the blue side.
I'm such a genius. The coach is thinking the exact same thing.
You're 100% genius. I bow to your wisdom, Mr. Clement. But Zoe has indeed been banned against Suning Gaming here, so Knight will not get his mitts on that one, alongside Ornn and Camille as well. Suning Gaming will ban out Xia, Kog'Maw, and Lee Sin, and first pick Ryze, so really love that Ryze pick.
Yeah, this is very interesting from them. This is very rare that we see a first pick come out from Knight, but the times that he did first pick, it was the Ryze pick, so he's very confident in this champion.
Yeah, insta-locks out from JD Gaming though. Gnar will come out here for a Zoom, and then Clid picking up the Varus for Loken in the bottom side.
Varus, highest win rate champion, again in the LPL at the ADC position, and Gnar is kind of a catch-all as well. I'm really interested in what XiaoAL is going to run into that, because we have seen him play the Jax, so there could be that possibility of a fighter looming there.
Yeah, very much a meta bot lane shaping up on the side of Suning Gaming. So lock in the Braum, 47% win rate on that one, a 57% win rate on Ezreal, who will be playing alongside him in the bottom side.
no new picks coming out from Fury, but they're going for the same things that they tried last game. I feel like they're just saying we can play a scale composition if we just take out the Zoe.
And Taric will be joining Varus as well. So this is another draft where we're seeing the bottom side being picked up immediately before we're even seeing anything on the top. Like we've seen the Gnar, we've seen the Ryze, but we still need junglers to join us in this game.
And this is interesting from Jingdong because they could ban out the Gangplank, but Gnar actually has a very good matchup into that, so they could also leave that open. The question is, what does XiaoAL have in his back pocket at this point? They are banning out the Jarvan jungle. That's a very good combo we see in the mid and jungle position, the Ryze into the Jarvan. Very easy to get kills there.
Now, I wonder how deep we go on these jungle bans, whether we're going to see like a Kha'Zix ban, even a Sejuani who's still open for these junglers here.
Suning Gaming also have secured themselves kind of a way to go into the Ornn pick. They also have the Braum themselves.
Taking away Yagao's Kassadin, actually. I don't want to play him with the Ryze here. What else is still available in terms of meta mid lane? It's like Malzahar still up.
The top four, yeah, only Malzahar is up, but every time Jingdong has played Malzahar, it has been with the Lee Sin combo. Now that's not available to them. It kind of comes down to the jungle combo as well. As we talked about, Jingdong really likes their mid-jungle kill combinations, and they're going to have to figure something out in the these last two picks. Cassiopeia is also an option into the Ryze. Very powerful in 8.1. 8.2, she gets nerfed very hard, but we've seen in the LMS, Apex do very well with that pick.
Yeah, definitely a question there for Yagao. I mean, we've seen him play LeBlanc as well, but outside of that, it's basically just been like the meta mid laners right now for him.
Yeah, LeBlanc, it's going to be a little bit difficult to punish Ryze in the mid lane. Wouldn't really expect that.
Yeah, most likely just going to go towards something meta here. Sejuani for the jungle for Clid. It's going to be Rengar on the opposite side for Tian, though. So it's something that deals a little bit more damage for the side of Suning.
Last pick top lane, still going to be the Gangplank.
Into Gnar.
But like we said in the analyst segment, between the chrono breaks, Gangplank is significantly better on the blue side than on the red side. So Cassiopeia very well might be the pick here.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Also, need to see if Jingdong are able to punish that Gangplank, as you said. On the blue side, a little bit more safe, but the Gnar is a good matchup who's constantly pushing, and if he gets knocked low enough, maybe Sejuani can come in with that gank towards the top, but part of it is reliant on this mid lane pick, and it might actually just be the Malzahar in the end, and indeed it will be for Yagao.
Okay, so the Malzahar, though it is still a kill combination, very powerful in the mid game, in the early game, the Ryze should be able to push the Malzahar out. So this changes a lot of dynamics in the matchup. I actually feel like Tian might have a much easier time this game around, just because Clid is not on the Lee Sin, he's not on the Kha'Zix, and Yagao is going to be constantly pushing for the early game. So Suning Gaming do have a mid-jungler combination that can push them into the later games of the later stages of the game and allow that Ezreal and allow that Gangplank to develop.
Yeah, it definitely does feel that Suning have solved a lot of the problems that they had in the initial draft, you know. We were just like, well, the jungle's definitely going to be a problem because you left up Lee Sin against, you know, a Lee Sin player. And then mid lane, that's going to be a problem because you left up Zoe against Yagao. So both of those things have been rectified heading into the second game. Plus, they decided to go onto the blue side. So it seems like in terms of draft and how they've set themselves up for this game, they are in a much better position.
Yes, definitely much better. They picked themselves a pushing mid laner and also swapped over to the blue side. The two things that I feel like is going to help Tian a lot, is going to help them scale a lot. But however, I will say this still is a new phase for SNG Gaming, for Suning Gaming. We haven't seen them play into the slow compositions. They've always been very scrappy with their picks, with their play mentality. And if you want to play like a scaling composition, I do feel like you need to make less macro mistakes, go for less 50-50s. Let's just see if they've grown on that front.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's been 10 minutes maybe between match 1 and match 2, so looking at these big macro differences is going to be a tall task. I mean, when we look at both these two teams as well, especially JD, they do sometimes make those questionable calls in the late game when they're pushed to it, but frankly, we don't see that many late game fights from JD because typically the game is already over. As we saw in that last game, they just pushed Suning down in every single lane, they pushed them out, they had Herald, they rode momentum essentially, but they didn't have any room basically to mess up.
Yeah, they're just so far ahead in the previous game in Jingdong. Even though they went for that kind of risky Baron play, everything was still kind of fine. This game, I'm really interested on how Tian is going to do on that Rengar. We saw the Rengar pick actually does very well into the Gnar. Basically means that if you want a team fight, the Gnar has to be in Mega. If it's mini Gnar, it usually doesn't have enough defenses to kind of hold the damage.
Holy crap, there are still fans in the arena. And they are still very loud. That is impressive.
I want those Jingdong coupons as well, man. I definitely know what they're screaming for. Possible level 1 coming out here.
Yeah, Miles is going to take a bit of a beating there from Yoon. Yep. Trying to land his last mystic shot.
Ezreal Q does proc the passive. Does proc concussive blows.
It does indeed.
But unable to get anything here.
Zoom's going to spot XiaoAL as he walks into this bush. Tian's just behind him there, so he's going to get a bit of damage onto Zoom as well. And this is 1 minute 23. Minions are already coming into lane, so this is going to really suck for Zoom unless he wants to burn his teleport.
So very interesting dynamic coming out here. Suning Gaming might actually be able to force off both buffs from Jingdong.
What they're trying to do. Yoon is stepping up to this push. They've got the ward down now, so you can see everything that Jingdong are doing. But it looks like the bottom side is letting up from Suning. Tian's going to take this red buff here, and Clid will be able to claim his own blue buff, but he will not be able to head into the bottom side to get his second buff here.
Yeah, I feel bad for Fury. So the reason he was doing that play is because he has Kleptomancy, and he didn't get anything off of it. He landed 3 or 4 Qs, but no luck there.
Yeah, it feels bad, man. This is 8.1 as well, so the drop rate has not been nerfed just yet, pre-15. So Fury should have gotten something, but unfortunately did not. In the end, has gone for minion dematerializer. In fact, we have 5 in this game.
Ooh, the question here is, where does Sejuani go right now? If you look at her pathing, there aren't a lot of good options. She doesn't really want to contest Tian's bottom side of the jungle because that mid lane is pushing so hard for Knight.
Yeah, Suning actually winning the game 2-0 here, which is very interesting considering how game 1 went. Maybe they're thinking along the same lines as you here, Clement.
Well, it does seem like Suning is very fast. They got their mice to the venue, so that's probably why they're getting such high scoring rates. Clid is stuck in such a bad jungle pathing right now.
Yeah, pretty much trapped. Nice sidestep from Fury. He's going to get a lot of punish down onto Mao. In fact, may even get the kill here as the Ignite comes out, and the last missing shot even connects, but Loken is able to just zone him away from the tower at the very least.
That's a very steady play from LvMao right there, holding on to all of his summoners. Nothing is phasing him.
So it's LvMao, right? Because I got memes by the Chinese community.
Yeah, so what Jingdong said was when you said LvMao, they said, oh, actually, he's called Gucci Mao. Having a bit of fun with you right there. It is very hard to pronounce in Mandarin for English speakers because I don't think
confirm.
Yeah, that definitely does not exist.
Definitely looks
English.
like a V to me, but it's LvMao. I'll call him Mao.
Yeah,
we have a lot of cats in this league, to be honest. We have Cat, we have LvMao, we have Meow, we've got Frostcure and Mao.
I don't get why you guys like cats so much.
It's not just us, it's China as well, mate.
You're going overboard with the names. That's what I would say.
It's not an LMS thing.
But coming back to this a little, I just want to mention how far Tian is ahead in this jungle matchup. You could see him do basically 3 sides of full clears. He's up in CS, 15 CS at this point. This is going to get him level 6 incredibly fast. And I'm not
2-level advantage.
Yeah, 2-level advantage. I'm not sure how Jingdong is going to hold against that first Rengar gank. I feel like the top lane could be a prime target for that.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting that Suning have decided to adapt, and the way that they do adapt is attacking the jungle so hard because the Sejuani was picked up by Clid, which is very interesting.
Yeah, that definitely shows that Tian was not phased by that game 1. Like, he's bring it on, Clid. You're not on your Lee Sin, you know, I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah, you don't have your Lee Sin. What else have you got? We've also taken away the Jarvan, so you have to go back onto that tank jungler. And Tian, he's just gotten level 5, but he's looking for that initial gank. He's actually trying to invade here as well. Looks like he will be spotted out by this ward, so pings go down naturally by JD.
He has an extra long sword on this at this point, and you can see the Braum is also moving over, so this is going to be no contest from Jingdong.
Yeah, not going to happen. Level 4 just picked up on Clid as he walks towards his bottom side. Teleport back into lane from Yagao, so he will be able to provide cover fire for Clid if he meets Rengar in the jungle. But it's actually Knight who's moving first here as Tian moves towards these wolves.
The mid laners are rotating over here as well, but Knight really does have the inner track.
Yeah, absolutely does. Yagao turns the corner, doesn't have the level 6 just yet, but Malefic Visions will take him down to half. Regardless of that, Tian still gives him enough time to take away the wolf camp.
So if we think about the number of camps that Rengar has actually taken away, the answer would be 4 camps that he's currently been able to get from Clid's jungle, and Clid has actually not been able to get a single camp back from Suning's side. So that's a massive difference right there. And I think it's really affecting the bot lane matchup. If you look at the bot lane, Loken and LvMao should not be losing this lane, actually. They do have the pushing advantage. Even though that Suning Gaming did opt into those minion dematerializers, but this laning phase is going worse than it should be.
Yeah, significantly worse. And Gangplank, actually, he's actually not doing that well in the top lane. I thought he would be more stabilized than he is. Actually went for the Sheen first as well into Zoom. There's a pretty sizable gold lead in terms of CS at the very least. I haven't managed to punish him with any dives just yet, just because of how far Clid is behind in the jungle right now.
This is very interesting. Now, in the Gnar matchup, he is supposed to punish the Gangplank pretty hard, and I think it does have a lot to do with how Tian was in the bottom side of the jungle while Clid was farming around Raptors.
Yep.
So that was probably the you can see XiaoAL's CS score is probably the consequence of that, but I totally agree with you. Like,
he started the laning phase with
pretty
like
hard.
half his health.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even so, like at that point, if you're the Gangplank, you'd definitely use all of your parlays just hitting the Gnar just to chunk him out of lane. So unless he went for the early TP, I'm not sure how Zoom did so well, but you know, Zoom was one of these players we were talking up. I know Raz talking from the LPL knowledge that Zoom was actually a pretty good player, someone we should be looking out for. So it's cool to see him do well against XiaoAL here.
Really good tank player. We've seen it on the Gangplank, on the Ornn, on the Vladimir as well. And compared to XiaoAL, it's a pretty interesting contrast. XiaoAL actually had the most solo kills for a top laner in the previous split. So very fighter-centric, wants to do a lot of things in lane. They're setting up for a blue engage right here. Tian is already level 6.
Oh, he's going to get locked down by the Nethergrass though, and Clid's over the wall looking to punish this. Rengar is not working out too well, but what a snipe from Fury from downtown will take out the jungler. And Tian somehow still alive. Yoon with the backup, Fury with the heal as well. And this is going disastrously wrong for JD.
Great play from Suning Gaming there, knowing that Tian is already level 6. He can kind of cleanse that damage coming out from Yagao with the gray health on his empowered W, stays alive, and then has another perfect timing as well. Gnar was nowhere in the fight, and they also had the cannon barrage coming down, so that was just well executed from Suning Gaming. They knew who to jump and where to get their leads, and Tian, this is the second buff he's stealing away from Jingna.
Loken's walking up as well just to try and protect this Grumper. Just pretty much spot that blue going down. We can see that once again as Tian jumps over the wall. And I thought he was a dead man.
Oh, you don't make that assumption about Rengar, basically, especially when he has the perfect timing up as well. We can see the globals coming in and really winning it for Suning right there. A cannon barrage and also an Ezreal ultimate. Varus still locked in the bot lane the entirety of this play. So, you know, I feel like for Jingdong Gaming, at this point, you kind of have to sacrifice something. If you really wanted that blue buff that badly, I feel like you needed to pull your bot lane into that position and just give up a wave in the bot lane or give up a wave in the mid lane. And they kind of wanted to get both at the same time. To be honest, that play was kind of a foregone conclusion. They probably could have given that up and still be fine.
Definitely felt pretty greedy out from them. But Suning, this is essentially everything we wanted to see from them. This is, in terms of adaptation, absolutely perfect. Fixed the draft, fixed how they approach the jungle position, went for the invade, were aggressive early. Like, this is exactly what we wanted to see.
Yeah, and I have to give a lot of credit to Coach Sim. This guy has worked on TP, has worked in the LMS. He's a Korean coach that used to work with the KT organization, the Najin organizations, and he really does know how to make these set plays. That's what he's most known for, especially when Suning Gaming reached the playoffs in the previous split. A lot of it had to do with Coach Sim's kind of lane swaps during the mid-game, you know? When you have a Season 4 coach on the bench, he can really talk you through all the details in that type of play, and we're seeing it right now. Like, Suning Gaming, they're winning because they have good set plays in-game.
Veteran stats is actually coming from the coach position, leading them from behind, and it really is paying off. XiaoAL in the top lane looking for his back right here. Has the teleport if he wants to go right back to lane. Coming up very shortly after this teleport back to base. Will be the phage picked up. Nope, just kidding. It will be the boots picked up.
Yeah, it does need that move speed to walk away from the Gnar.
Tian and Knight moving towards the bot side, top side rather.
Ooh, look at Malzahar's position. He's so far away. Like, if they wanted to make a play, and they're not making any plays because obviously Gangplank is still moving back to lane, but if they wanted to make a play like that, that actually puts so much pressure on Zoom.
Yeah, very little Yagao can do. He can teleport, but usually by then it will be over unless Zoom can get Mega Gnar and somehow survive. Does not have the stopwatch in the top lane, so we'll be able to stall them out. Regardless, Suning do not decide to execute on that play. And in the bottom side, still pushing in constantly. So Fury, essentially even with Loken, but of course has the extra gold courtesy of Kleptomancy.
This is a very good timing for Suning Gaming to actually take the Infernal Drake right now because Zoom does not have his teleport up. You look at XiaoAL, teleport, cannon barrage already up, full vision control over here. Mid lane pushed in. They are going to go for the play.
Yeah, Infernal Dragon as well. JD Gaming not really in position to even contest. I think Clid just wants his Wolf Camp, to be honest. Yagao push back in lane, and this will be a free take on Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, I'm really wondering if this Malzahar pick was worth it. We talk about the big four mid laners quite a bit, the Malzahar, Azir, Zoe, and Ryze as well. But the problem with the Malzahar is that his early game is kind of weak, the weakest out of the four. He continues to scale, yes, but you can see in this game, like, he hasn't had an impact so far.
Yeah, especially when you look towards Yagao, like this has been his most played champion. Yes, he had 3 games before this, but I like to see him on these mechanically intense champions. You know, like Azir is very fun to watch, like Zoe as well. Champions that he can really just use the full breadth of their kit. Whereas with Malzahar, it's like, well, I walk up to a target and I click R at the right time, and that's my contribution.
Yeah, I would have liked the Cassiopeia pick a lot more.
Yeah.
She can duel the Ryze in the mid lane, and also you have on Jingdong, you have a very good composition that can hold a lot of chokes very well. The Varus, the Cassiopeia, and you can go into a 4-1 type of shell and play that composition out very well. But they did go for the Malzahar, and they're going to have to prove why they picked this Malzahar.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to have to do something at some point. That's kind of a broad statement, I know, but I should rephrase that. They're going to have to make some picks with it to really prove its worth.
Yeah. Try and get around the map, and he's actually going for the cooldown reduction build as well. He's going for that initial Morella. And Armacon, I'm sure he'll probably maybe even look towards Lucidity boots as well. Probably also running ultimate hat. That being said, Suning are constantly being aggressive, constantly trying to find these advantages, and JD's bottom lane are huddling underneath their tower. That being said, the minion wave is disintegrating rather quickly, so this play from Suning will fizzle. However, it looks like blue buff will be spawning soon, so that seems to be what's on the docket here for Tian.
That was very good from LvMao and Loken. So they held their ground. They knew that they had the Cosmic Radiance, and also Zoom and Yagao both had their teleports up. They knew SNG was trying to scare them off their tower and make them lose farm and probably lose that first brick gold, but they held their ground right there. So that was a very daring play by them, even though it doesn't seem like they did much, but that was actually a very good play by them.
Yep. XiaoAL, he's farming, and he's farming. There's the Gangplank life, and it looks like he's going back, and he has enough gold for the Strike Force. That's what I predict. In the bottom side, was the blue buff taken away? It looked like it from Tian. So pretty much, JD have not had a single blue buff this game, which also hurts Yagao, because that will help him out if he is looking for those picks. And that whole bottom side has just been wooded up from Suning, and quite frankly, it looks like this entire map has been reversed, and it's a carbon copy of the first game, except Suning are the ones on the blue side, pushing over that vision and destroying the jungle roll.
It's a good play from Suning again. They contemplated maybe going a 4-man dive, realized that Jingdong has just backed off, and did not expend any extra unneeded resources in that. Secures the first brick.
Yeah, a bunch of gold over to the bottom of Fury, who's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Mid lane also with that initial Abyssal Mask from Knight. And top lane has completed its Triforce as well. So big item spikes across the board from Suning. And likewise from JD, they also managed to catch up. They're not actually that far. I was going to say not that far behind on gold, but they are 3,500 behind.
That's pretty far. You also have to factor in the Infernal Drake as well. So Suning Gaming definitely, I'd say they're pretty far in the lead. The scaling also kind of works for them as well in terms of like the AD position.
We just need to see them start fighting, to be honest, because right now this has been very much tempered. This is not how I expected Suning to gain their advantage in the early game. I was expecting very much for them to be hyper-aggressive to get it against JD, but pretty much they've just made macro plays.
Yeah, that's what Coach Sim will do. He is a very Korean coach, and Suning Gaming was kind of described as the Korean team in the LPL last split. Suning Gaming now going for a 2-for-1 trade. So if Jingdong Gaming actually want to equalize this, they will have to push into this tier 2 tower. I don't think they can do it. Cannon Barrage is almost up. So if they allow this to happen, Suning Gaming is going to be incredibly happy.
Yeah, it's continuously pushing. Gangplank trying to clear out the minion wave, but no one's actually helping him. I don't know why this has just been allowed to happen. JD are just pushing in. They've taken the bot side. They're looking towards this inner tower. Now they're looking for the dive. GP goes into the status effect, but he's not going to be alive for much longer. Yoon is trying to protect him, but they've got the help out from Taric's ultimate. He had to flash away on this one, and Yoon also backing away, so the tower falls in exchange for a Rift Herald topside and a tower.
Yeah, so they do manage to equalize the 2v2 in a sense, but that was a lot of things expended for both sides. I think for Jingdong, you could see 2 summoners expended. For Gangplank, just 1 flash. Yeah, overall still, I think overall still good for Jingdong. Like, they managed to equalize that trade, even though it was pretty dicey. They had a very good timer on the Cannon Barrage. If the Cannon Barrage was up maybe 5 or 6 seconds, then that play would not have been available.
Yeah, and there's also an inner turret on the bot side as well. That being said, with the Herald now being in play, Tian might be able to crack the mid lane tower with it. I don't know how scratched up that tower is in the mid lane, but Suning do have the next play.
And I feel like Yagao is telling his team, like, it's not my fault I can't hold this mid tower. I've seen no blue buffs. I do not know what a blue buff looks like.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult for them to wave clear. Yeah, they might need the Gnar in the mid lane at some point, just like go over there and kind of hold that wave out.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, put Yagao into a side lane. He's got the unsealed spellbook, but it's about half cooldown on that teleport left. They want to put him in the side lane. And instead, JD are trying to make another proactive play into the top side now, moving jungle and the bottom lane up there, trying to knock down this tower. Does look like they're backing off now, though. Sejuani going into the jungle. Has been warded out. Wards scattered all over JD Gaming's top side of the map. Suning Gaming constantly keeping track of where Clid is, his whereabouts and what he's doing. And Tian knows this red buff's up, so he would like to contest it. However, 4 members of JD are here to defend.
But this leaves the mid lane tower open, and unfortunately there's actually a resetting of the red buff. If we look at Tian's CS right now, he's really massive. 17 minutes in, already has double items completed, especially that Duskblade. This is going to create situations where if Zoom is not Mega Gnar, he can be instantly taken out of the fight. They need to be very careful about proceeding into this dragon area for Jingdong.
I'm actually a little surprised that Tian didn't just instantly place down that Rift Herald there to crack the mid lane tower, but they might be able to get it without even using it.
Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. It's pretty much down to 1 shot right now, so if the Herald is used, it should go down no problem.
And I guess it's like, what do you do after that play? Because you open up the middle of the map, but they already have control over the top side, so maybe they rotate down towards the bottom side because now Dragon is available. It will be an Ocean Dragon.
I think what Tian is holding his Herald on to do is try to fork Jingdong. So if Jingdong try to go for the Drake, they can put Herald in mid lane and draw the players towards mid rather than taking the Ocean Drake. Let's see if that's what he's going to do now that this is the chance he would do it if he wanted to do that.
Yeah. Possibility here.
Okay, so he is going for the play.
He's running out of time, unfortunately. On the bottom, Clid taking this dragon, but yeah, I mean, there's no defending this because as soon as Herald starts charging, Herald's going to go down. So they'll pick it up. Suning not following the Herald for the next push, so they'll be happy and content with the middle tower falling, and then trying to pivot around now that pressure that they've created for themselves.
The best situation for Suning there, actually like 3 minutes ago, was to drop the Herald mid and then try to get the Ocean Drake at the same time. That was kind of like the fork they were going for. But this is still fine. They still get the main objective that they do want to take down. And it's going to open a lot of ground for Tian to start impacting the map quite heavily.
Yeah, looking for that fork. Do you play chess, Clement?
Oh yeah,
chess term.
I do play some chess. I'm really bad at it though. League of Legends and StarCraft are definitely more of my thing.
Yeah, love me some RTS, but right now, pretty much just moving around the map, putting their pieces in the right places. And Zoom farming up as well. Honestly, haven't seen a lot of Zoom this entire game. He's just been in side lane constantly.
And I have this feeling that you're probably not going to see that much of him. It's going to be very hard for him to actually split push when Rengar is this far ahead of your own jungler. Like, the Rengar can very easily kill you in 2 rotations at this point. I don't think he has any armor items aside from ninja tabbies. So if you look at what Zoom is doing right now, he's like, nope, I'm not going past the river. No, even though his minion wave's already there, he's like, nope, I'm not going past there.
I'm gonna be safe.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from the knife cat. Yeah.
Yeah. The golden rule as a top laner, especially when you're in a side lane by yourself, is don't leave the line that your team is creating. So right now you can kind of see like Malzahar and the rest of the team has kind of created a line. You don't want to go past that. So most of the time it usually lines up with River, but they kind of create their own moving line as the game goes on.
I think this was a very smart pick for the Rengar to come out. You can see the effects it's having on the Gnar.
I mean, it was double jungle bans against him, and yeah, whoops indeed. Clid caught out in his own jungle. Sunny will be happy with this pick, and that is multiple pings going down onto Baron.
Yeah, he was sitting on a ward right there. Very unfortunate for him. Tian did not even need to expend his ultimate, so this is going to dissuade Jingdong from even checking.
Ward has been disabled. Mao over the wall places one down to get a brief glimpse of vision, knowing that they are on this one. Teleport in from Zoom. They will probably look for the fight. They don't have the smite, unfortunately, so Tsune trying to burst this one down. Tian does manage to find a secure, but Yoon pays his life for it. Knight wants to get out of here, has this on his hourglass. And Fury walks in there as well, manages to get out alive, and Tian will fast recall in the jungle of JD.
That was hilarious because we have seen a lot of Ryze ultimates, Realm Warps, not taking their teammates with them. So, close call by Fury there, does get on the last train and dodges all of that danger.
Top tower, using that bit of time that they got with the pick, JD will manage to pick up one tower in the top side. Clid defending mid as well, as XiaoAL was just hammering away at the tower using the minion wave that was there, baroning it up on top of that. But soon in gaming, the ball is back in their court.
They're not that far ahead in gold. It's only 4K advantage, but in terms of like the scaling, in terms of the map control right now, Suning are pretty much in full control of this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much as you were saying, the jungle pick was incredibly clever from Tian. The fact he's playing this Rengar, and the fact he's playing something aggressive as well into Clid. They kind of just neutered him in the end because there wasn't a lot that Clid could go for. There was no Lucin, there was no Jarvan. And then JD started banning junglers themselves against Tian. In fact, very aggressive junglers, and then he's like, well, I've still got Rengar. So he just plays Rengar. And also the way that the team played around it in the top side, it just all snowballed from the initial play. Actually, very much like last game.
Yeah, it was very good set play, actually. We can talk a little bit more about Tian as a player. He was previously with Knight on YM, and they really brought him on to feel to make Knight feel more comfortable at home in the Suning roster. And we can see that they do prefer to play him. Sometimes, you know, he can't hold his own in the jungle, and they have to bring Hacker back. But I think after this game, we are showing why it is showing why they were such a successful duo in LPL.
Yeah, you can see that synergy shining through. Mid tower being sieged in now. Jingdong trying their best to try and defend, but I haven't really seen anything out of this Malzahar pick so far. We're expecting to see some rotations, some roams, some skirmishes, some pickoffs, but unfortunately, Yagao just hasn't had a situation where he's been able to do so.
He's used his ultimate once.
Yeah, because in a way, it suppresses Dew as well. At the same time, Yagao just disappears from mid lane, so we won't be seeing an ultimate used in this fight.
Yep. Gonna have to wait another couple minutes. Suning Gaming should be able to take this inhibitor without much resistance.
Yeah, and quite frankly, at this point in time, JD just want to go full damage control. If someone else dies here, then it could mean the end of the game for them.
Really flashy plays coming out from Knight also. Just a very proactive flash. Caught out Yagao there. That's a really interesting move. So they layer the Gangplank ultimate, you know, popped Yagao's bubble right there, and instantly went in for the flash.
Yeah, very interesting. And Suning will move towards the top side. There is a minion wave being escorted in by Knight. And in the meantime, Fury is just keeping the rest of the team from JD occupied, giving the rest of the team time to rotate up here and potentially take this inner tower as well. Clid and Zoom are looking for the defense.
Yeah, Jingdong should really just give this up. The play that Suning could even possibly do is like Realm Warp directly behind them, and that would be a full ace for them.
Wow, ultimate used by Clid. He wants to go in here. Where's the Malzahar? We'll jump back. There's the Malzahar ultimate onto the front line. It's onto Knight as well. Does he have the Realm Warps on this? That's what he's looking for, but he's going to die before he can use it.
All right, I misread that. Jingdong, you know, came up with the better play, went all in right there. I felt like Suning Gaming had a very strong position at that point. Like, they were very far ahead, you know, the Infernal Drake, the items and stuff like that. But Jingdong Gaming does come out with the surprise 5-man.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't even know if JD were going to follow up on that call because Clid throws out the ultimate. Everyone waits for a beat. And it's like, okay, yes, we will go in on this
They
one.
went all in, 5 people in, you know, it was like, okay, we're going to take some damage and know the Nexus towers, that's fine, and we're just going to make this pick right there.
Next jungle is going to be Cloud, so it's not super high priority for either team, but of course JD, they'll take anything they can get at this point in time, and if it's a 5 versus 4, maybe they can lure out Fury and the rest of his team, essentially get another pick and snowball that into another objective, but not going to be the case. Fury's just keeping the enemy team at arm's length.
At this point, it's worth a mention that Suning Gaming has out-leveled Jingdong quite heavily, so this does give them min-in pushing advantage. This means that they don't need to set up a slow push in any of their lanes. The game mechanics will actually do that for them. So what you see teams like WE really like to do in these types of situations is that they'll start to group more as 5 and just move between the lanes. Even though a lot of times when we talk about split pushing, you talk about like sending the waves in together. Yep. In these situations, a lot of times what you can do is you can actually prep before the wave. You want the wave to crash in alternate fashion, so you can go in one lane, prep the wave, get some chip damage, and then move to another lane, clear out the entire enemy wave, and then do that again and again. And this is what we're seeing right now.
Rinse and repeat. Go back towards the top side, and unfortunately, JD are not in position really to do anything, and also the tower is essentially standing gold at that point. Yagao pushing out into the mid lane. There is an inhibitor down, so he needs to keep it as far away as possible if they are going to try and defend this top tower.
Suning, they don't have a lot of sieging tools. The Ezreal is fairly short range. So what they might be thinking about doing is like keeping the waves pushed up, and we've seen teams do like a Bjergsen play where you 5-man stack push and then instantly realm morph back into the Baron. So all Suning really needs to do right now is just control this side of the vision, make sure Jingdong is pushed in, and once that Baron comes up, it should be a fairly easy take.
Yeah, keep him pushed in, make every bush a potential death trap for JD as they take that Baron.
And this is why we see a 10% win rate difference in solo queue and professional on the Ryze champion. Just because you can realm warp instantly. If you
can communicate with your team that what you're doing. Yeah, exactly. Whereas in solo queue, it's like, wow, I don't know if this guy's teleporting me into the enemy nexus or not. So
that does happen. Sometimes.
Yeah, it does happen.
That happened in Snake Game too. Just saying.
Yep, true. So sometimes, even in professional, you might get
was really happy with his win. It's like, yeah, boys,
let's go.
Let's go, Crystal. Bye-bye.
It's even better if you could line it up with like a bard ultimate and just trap them in so they actually just can't escape. Oh, the ultimate troll. Well, we're pretty much waiting on Baron at this point.
Yep.
We're just waiting for that one to spawn.
Let's see if they do the smart beard play or they do the kind of suicidal macro Suning play where they teleport forward. That's also a possibility. I will say, like, both of these teams are very prone to macro suicides.
Yeah. They have the ability to self-destruct at any given moment, so never switch off the stream when you're watching these two.
Yep.
Because it looks like maybe a team could win at the same time. They might just rush towards Elder with 10% HP on the jungler and then lose. That could happen. So right now, to be honest, Suning have been playing very smart in this one, Clement.
They definitely have, and this is a good move by Jingdong. They're keeping the mid lane pushed and just threatening to go into the enemy composition. So they don't want to stay in their own base, don't want to get, Bjergsen upon.
Bjergsen.
Yeah, they are risking getting engaged on themselves by doing this play right here, but they are securing, basically taking away the Baron play from Suning at the same time. So there is risk involved in this play, but there are better rewards.
Yeah, we're also waiting for some of that scaling to come out as well, because Malzahar, he's not really gotten time to shine in this game, though he is still packing a bunch of farm, but it's more the AD carry now I'm looking at, because Loken's got 3 items. It's actually still pretty big. If he can actually get on top of some of these carries on Suning, he will start to rip them apart. Mid lane tower, trying to be sieged out, but this is outer tower at this point in time, so, Demolish is going to do a bunch of damage to it.
That was a very good timing from Jingdong. They probably realized that Braum had expended all of his wards, knew that he wasn't there, just pushing for the mid, easy take. Grouped as 5, didn't allow the Rengar any chances.
There's a bit of breathing room as well. They can push out slightly further without Suning having that nice little bastion just out in the mid lane. So push in, put the vision a little bit deeper, but Suning have gained control back over of the Baron area. Looked like we had 2 recalls coming in from JD, from Clid and Mao.
I'm actually very impressed by Jingdong's play in the last minute. Like, the way they avoided that Baron take from Suning was very well done. They recognized that they were the stronger team fight composition in terms of open ground.
Yeah.
The Gangplank Barrows, if you don't hide them in bushes, they're pretty obvious to spot out. He doesn't really do that well in terms of open ground, and the Rengar is kind of the same thing as well. If the enemy team is grouped up as 5. So that was very impressive from Jingdong. A very good defense. They actually get their red side jungle vision control back. What Suning can look to do is kind of set around another play for the Infernal Drake. I feel like at this point Rengar has enough damage to just take that objective by himself.
Yeah. It's almost getting to the point where Suning are getting 2 tunnel visioned on this Baron, where JD might actually just win a fight against them in River at this point. But they've actually sent the Gangplank to the bottom lane. He's got his ultimate and the TP as well. We need to get involved. But it's actually Tian who's walking into the bush. He does have the Guardian Angel, so they're going to have to kill him twice. But getting rid of that GA would be massive for JD Gaming right here. Yagao following up as well, but waiting for those TPs. He's locked down. Knight also placed outside of the realm warp. He's unable to get that one off. He comes and flashes over the wall. Tian looking for the re-engage right now. Redemption coming down. That's a big heal. Tian back into the fight, into the front line. So this XiaoAL has turned off. Wipes out Clid. Mao backing off, and now Loken has to scatter from the fight. Trading off against Fury now, but Fury getting the better of this one. He is now completely blind, unable to get into that bush. Meanwhile, in the back line, got Gangplank and Knight coming at it. But Knight won't fall, trades his life for the AD carry at 4 versus 2.
Great play by there from Zoom to kind of salvage the situation, takes down the enemy carry, the enemy AD carry in Ezreal. So at the start of that fight, that was a bad play from the, obviously a bad play from the Rengar to face check that brush, but they do get a hero save from Knight that kind of teleports both of them out, able to re-engage, and a beautiful triple barrel from XiaoAL, instantly taking out Jingdong's front line.
Yeah, the old Phantom Barrel combo was beautiful from XiaoAL. Yagao's the only one on map. Mao and Clid have just respawned, but this Baron's actually not going down that quickly. It's down to about half now, but they don't have a dedicated tank here, so they are relatively low. I'm not sure if Clid can beeline it towards the area in time, though. Yoon has turned up, and the Baron will fall. Just need to get out as fast as possible. Recalls on that one, but Yagao has actually moved towards the Infernal Dragon.
I'm actually super surprised that Tian actually didn't die in that fight. So Tian didn't die, and because of that, because his Sejuani was dead, he was able to just steal a Baron away. Pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Good timing out there, but unfortunately, no cigar. The Dragon Rider will go down to JD, and it is 2 dragons apiece. We can see that one more time. So Tian jumps in, and I fully expected him to at least go into the Guardian Angel right here.
Yep, he does go into it later. I believe Yagao does flash and R him at some point.
Ground warp.
Does get the damage down.
Yeah, really good timing on the Malzahar ultimate there, preventing Knight from escaping, but it did burn his flash in the end.
Well, this is a bit unfortunate. The Cosmic Radiance actually does not block any damage. Triple Barrow coming in. Takes out the Sejuani, also chunks out LvMao super hard.
Yeah, Fury trades off against Loken, and they say, I don't have any vision of this bush.
Yeah, and we can see 2 low health members in the mid lane for Suning. So not full committing here, actually.
Yeah, Knight came in with a fantastic flank around the left side of the fight as well, able to assassinate Loken, because he was about to get away with it too, so it's good stuff from Knight to actually recognize that fact, and basically swung the course of that fight for Suning.
Now, that was really good understanding by Tian to opt out of that fight, actually. The main objective wasn't to fully ace Jingdong, it was to secure that Baron, and he knew that Sejuani was already dead, so he didn't choose to go in with the rest of his team right there.
Now we're back to a siege situation. The Baron has been taken by Suning, but JD have a little bit more bite to them now, and they've managed to stall out this game, which is the most impressive thing. Unfortunately, they are playing into a Ryze in the Gangplank, so they do get stronger as the game goes on, but JD have stopped the game from ending, 15 minutes ago, when there was a very good chance for that to happen against Suning.
From this team, we're really seeing that they not only have good players, they have very good coaching as well. There's a lot of smart moves being done here. Sure, occasionally you'll watch Suning and Jingdong commit suicide, but this series so far, I feel like most of the macro decisions have been very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a macro game, Clement. It's been very cerebral. It's been, moving the chess pieces to where they need to be. Right now, we're looking for the engage on the bottom side as well. Good lockdown now from Yagao, and Mao will be the one claiming that kill. XiaoAL on the front lines alongside Fury, poking away these Mystic shots, but that's a pick from JD, and honestly, they just bought themselves 40 seconds.
a bit scattered from Suning right there. They split it up, try to take 2 inhibitors down at the same time. Gets caught out for that.
Yeah, and Yagao's going to have his ultimate back. It's already 50% recharged, so as soon as Yoon comes back or they try to push again, Yagao's going to do the exact same thing if Suning keeps splitting up. I feel like Elder Dragon now will be the next point where Suning will try and crack open this game.
And they do have the Gangplank, so very easy setup on the Rengar as well. Jingdong Gaming is going to have to move as an entire unit to contest this. At this point, Zoom also needs to be Mega Gnar to really enter the team fights. If we look at his items, he doesn't really have the armor to hold a candle against Rengar. So that's going to be a huge point of worry for them.
And we're almost looking at full item builds from everyone right now. Fury's just hit 6 items. Bottom side, looking at Loken as well. He needs to start at Targon's. Targon's. Wonder when he'll start to get towards his own 6 item. We're reaching that point in the game now where people are getting very large, and it will come down to that essentially a crucial team fight.
Exactly. So I've just been impressed by Jingdong's defense so far. If you remember the early parts of the game, Suning Gaming were very far ahead. They were Infernal Drakes ahead. They had the mid lane constantly pushing. Tian was massive. It took so many camps away from Clid. And now we're seeing the game still kind of go back into that one team fight scenario.
Stabilize,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, very good for Jingdong.
Because it looked like, honestly, the game was going to snowball, much like Game 1, in fact, when Clid completely decimated Tian. Tian did the same thing to him in Game 2, but yeah, it's pretty much just how a lot of these fights and these picks have played out. The fact that Malzahar exists in the late game is obviously an issue, because we can't as effectively pull off these split plays, because if Knight puts one step wrong in the middle lane inhibitor, then he gets locked down, he dies. We'll look for another engage here. Clid whiffing the ultimate. That's going to suck. However, Fury's still trapped in the latent embrace of the ultimate. Ultimate comes across as well. Shot Barrage, Zoom, very low, needs to jump back, will hop to relative safety. And both inhibitors do eventually go down, so good stuff from Suning.
That was a weird move by Jingdong. Once they missed Clid's ultimate, they should have backed off. They actually gave the mid inhibitor for free. Very calm play from Knight right there, recognizing that the Jingdong engage was not going to work. So he just stands in front of the inhibitor and takes that down.
And that's going to be very crucial because Elder Dragon spawns in 1 minute, Baron spawns in 2 minutes, inhibitors will not be up for that. So JD, they will need to push out as far as they can pretty much in these lanes, try and keep those minions at bay. Unfortunately, that will result in a much bigger wave crashing later, but just trying to stall out some time so they can at least contest these objectives. Otherwise, Suning will essentially pick them up for free.
This is very unfortunate for Jingdong because of the timers. You can see that there's a 46-second disparity between the Elder Drake and the Baron. What this means is that Suning can actually set up for the Elder Drake and then go for the Baron. So there's no situation where Jingdong can possibly pick one and kind of like fork the play right there. So if I'm Suning, I'm just going to try to draw like one fight at a time.
Well, they might be able to, as long as they can stall, which I don't know how they would necessarily do that, but they could still look for a fork if JD push out.
Yeah, if they let the timers run out, then certainly that would be an opportunity for Jingdong. What Suning can do is they can push the waves in, use the Realm Warp, instantly go to the Elder Drake. That is a play that's frankly quite easy for them to execute at this point. We can see Jingdong are very aware of this as well. They're placing a lot of vision for that Elder.
In the hypothetical, however, I'm just going to hold that thought because Clid's looking for the engage. Pops the ultimate. Instant cleanse from Fury. Good stuff. Unable to lock him down with the second ultimate. Knight somehow gets into his Zhonya's Hourglass there. Mao chasing forwards. Gangplank coming from down from the Dazzle. Cosmic Radiance down. Needs to try and find his team fight. XiaoAL on the back lines. He's been caught out. Not the way. But he will trade his life for the mid laner. 1-for-1 so far. Mao caught on the front lines. Tian looking for that jump. Multiple low health targets. And Fury is actually ripping into this lineup right now. Loken low. Tian chasing after him. Triple kill over to Fury. Loken the only one left. This looks like his night out for JD.
Yeah, Jingdong Gaming, I feel like they went a little bit too aggressive in that situation. They missed the initial 2 ultimates, and then they decided to go in anyway. So Suning Gaming, a very easy flank from the Gangplank, got a lot of barrel damage off, got a lot of R damage off, and Tian was able to mop up the entire fight from there. Great defense in the middle to late phases of the game, but still in terms of the engages, they could have executed that slightly better.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting a game like that between them. I was expecting, you know,
especially
fast
with
and
the
hard.
start.
Yeah, especially with the start. I was just like expecting constant plays, constant battles, you know, to try and vie for victory. But that's not what happened whatsoever. It was very much about going from objective to objective, looking for the siege, going for the right play, considering what they should do. And in the end, Suning actually just ended up winning because of the advantage from the early game over JD and take us to a Game 3.
And this makes me so proud for the LPL region. You just contrast that with the earlier series we had today, RNG versus RW. Supposedly a lot better players, but if you look at that macro game, I feel like this series was much cleaner in that sense. So we can see like the mid-pack of the LPL really rising up to the challenge.
It's actually really nice to see multiple looks from them as well. The fact that they can play fast and hard, but they can also play smart as well, means that, you know, as the split progresses, we can see more from them. Either way, you're going to send it over to the analyst desk to take a look at the game.
Thank you very much, Pulse and Clement. We are going to go into game number 3. But FLICKR, we had a question for Tian, you know, when he started the match, which was, you know, was it a mouse issue or a brain issue? It seems like he fixed that, picked up the Rengar, and did well on the champion.
Yeah, got his new mouse delivered right there. And I love the fact that he went toe-to-toe with Clid and went for the aggressive champion. I feel like going into Game 3, this is probably going to be the trend that we're going to see. Both these guys have thrown down the gauntlet saying that we're here to kill people. And you can already see kind of the cracks forming when Yagao and Clid don't have that, you know, kill mid, kill jungle type of matchup. You have a Malzahar this time around, but it's no Kha'Zix, it's no Rengar, it's no Lee Sin. Instead, it's the Sejuani. And it just didn't find the same success across from Tian's Rengar.
Yeah, and we did not see that success. However, Tian's Rengar was fun to watch, you know, was able to make up for the mistakes he made in game number 1. Had a very interesting use of stopwatch, which we'll be able to show you guys in just a bit. But I really want to talk about that jungle matchup a little bit deeper, because it really is just trying to kill each other over and over for FLICKR. And it's going to game 3 to do just that.
And it was multiple times that Tian pretty much made the hero play this time around with the stopwatch to stall out long enough to bait Mao and Clid into a pretty sketchy situation to pick up more kills on the back of that. And then later on, when he sets up that miracle performance by flashing over the wall and baiting Zoom into the big initiation.
Yeah, on top of that, with that play, early play, it picked up 2 nice early kills for Suning Gaming. That was able to allow them to snowball into what was a later lead. And it came into one big team fight for FLICKR, which we're going to show you guys back at home, because this team fight, the whole time we're like, oh no, what's going on? Oh, they've done it. Suning have managed to pull this game back, and it just kept going and going, and nope, it was not the case.
It was so back and forth. You see Tian walking towards the bush, you're like, no, Suning, please don't do it. And then, okay, they're coming back. Maybe he can do it. He has a popped Guardian Angel. Okay, maybe this is probably it, because here comes Zoon, here comes the Gnar. Goes for the hit, mistimes it. The flash over the wall, the coming out of the GA, and Tian immediately hut, back into the team fight. And then from here, you're like, okay, now JD, they're on the back foot, huge barrel. Suning, they're probably going to close out the game here, and Loken goes God mode. He uses the ward there and the brush, denies vision so Fury can't follow. Some fancy feet work to sidestep, and he just starts putting people down, putting in his time before he goes down. And he does enough work that Yagao is able to save the team fight and JD hold on for just a little bit longer.
And it was almost enough for JD to make that comeback against Suning Gaming, but that was not the case, because right after that, Suning just marched towards the Baron. They picked up the big purple worm and picked up a 10,000 gold lead with that. And from there, it was just, you know, a matter of base defense. There was nothing too much that Jinnon could do anymore, except for watch helplessly as Suning marched towards the base.
But I do want to echo Clement's sentiment, because I was thinking the exact same thing watching that game. It was such a brilliant base defense from Suning. We don't see a lot of this ability to play defense as well in the LPL, so huge credit to JD for holding on as long as they did, but good work for Suning to identify that they were snowballing in every next available macro step.
And speaking of that, we get to take a look at the man of the match for that match. In the game, it was Fury who came out big. Yes, across from Loken, did 44.7% of his team's damage, FLICKR.
There are some ridiculous numbers being thrown. It was, what, 58% in game number 1, now it's 45% in game number 2. What's going to be in game number 3?
Oh, game number 3 is going to be a spicy one. Remember, this is the e-commerce wars between Jinnon as well as Suning, 2 of the biggest e-commerce companies in China, fighting it out, and it's gone all the way to game number 3. Not only is this a grudge match, so to speak, but on top of that, this is a fight for top of the table for FLICKR.
Yeah, winner of this will be first in the Eastern Conference, which is hilarious because RNG are in that group, and they're pretty much nowhere to be found, especially after their earlier loss to Rogue Warriors. So a lot of Western fans are probably scratching their heads. Who are JD? Who is Suning. Well, Suning made a playoff run last split. They're looking to do so this time around, and JD have come out flying without their star player, Doinby, and their new pickup in Yagao.
Yeah, Suning's looking to try and make a playoff run. JD's trying to win the whole damn thing this year for us, because they look really good. We questioned at the start of the day, you know, what they've been like without Doinby, but you've mentioned Yagao's really been stepping up. He had a great game number 1 on Zoe. Now picking up the Ryze, looking like he's fitting in comfortably with the team so far.
Yeah, Yagao is unreal. I'm curious how long it's going to take to shape him into another huge contender for the mid lane. Like, unfortunately, there's so many good mid laners in the LPL. You start going down the list, you're like XiaoAL, Icon, Xie, Rookie, and then maybe you start getting towards like Yagao, and at that point you're 5, you're almost halfway through the league, and so unfortunately to be a great player, you're almost just kind of like a mid-tier mid in the LPL.
On top of that, he's across from another player that's quite similar in Knight. When we started out the day, we were like, you know, he's really well known for his control mages, and then we got a message from Ryze saying
his assassins.
He also has his assassins as well. So this is an all-round player that's been doing well so far in this series, but he hasn't really been standing out like we expected him to, and it's really been the Yagao show from the start of Jindong. Is that something that he needs to do? Does he need to step up a bit?
I think it comes down to the credit and his synergy with Tian as well. Clement was talking about it during the cast, and especially across from Yagao and Clid, Tian and Knight really need to hold on to that friendship that they built on Young Miracles to survive this series.
Well, we'll have to see if they're able to do just that, because currently the series is tied up 1-1. For now, we're going to take a break. We're back with game number 3 in just a bit.